And so our journey begins. So, you know what it is when we first begin. We've been away for a little while, right? Like, for real. Like, it's been a hot minute since we've seen you. A lot has transpired. A lot has happened. Yeah, it was last Monday. Friday.
Wasn't it Friday? Yeah.
Friday. It's Wednesday. We
just one day.
But I have a story for that, too.
Oh.
Okay.
It's been a long time. I shouldn't have said for you.
Huh. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead and do your intro.
Okay. Oh, I am April BB.
And you know what? I am Mr. Brando. And guess what? This is the status of the reinstatement of the Iraqi Dinar Gang
IQD
Chat World News. And guess what? When I play a clip from an old video and I don't do the news, that's not because I don't have news, because I want you to pay attention to the old clip. And when they put on their repeat, you know what I be thinking? Pay attention, because you're not reading. I put that video out there because it needs context to content that's about to...
It's just a remix.
No, it's not just a remix. It's a remix with so much flavor, because it has everything to do with what we're talking about today.
But the remix come harder.
Well, and then
the original.
Well,
think about that.
Well, I know it and you know it, but they didn't really realize it.
Okay.
Because when we thought of this, okay, y'all, listen to this. I'm gonna give y'all some color. Okay, this is called color. When you put together a show, you have production meetings, we have content meetings, we have all kinds of meetings between me and Miss BB, right? So when we found out this information, she's lying. Don't let her lie to y'all. She be talking mad shit, but she don't know it's for real. But anyway,
I've been drinking.
Yeah, for real. But when we have these meetings, let me get to the point before she keeps stuttering. The whole idea is that when we find out an idea and we find out it's really something that's prudent, it has to be proven. It has to be duplicatable over a period of time. So about 4 weeks ago, we found out an anomaly that happened in the dinar space, and we had to look over it, and we decided at that point we had to take a second to realize that the information that came out was either going to revisit itself immediately, like his Iraqi Dinar history, or it was going to subside and go away, and we weren't going to worry about it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So we decided to say, look, we're going to chill a second. We'll put this out on Patreon. Shout out to Patreon. We did that last night. That's fire, for real. And it stayed true since. So when we did that, I came to you to say this. The news is on point. And for everybody that's out there discouraged about what's going on, the note count. I want you to Google a couple of things. Deemed deposits. I want you to look at safeguards against financial crash, as in date of 2016 or 17 to 2000 forward. I want you to look up stuff against hedge against a crash. And then you'll start to understand why people buy gold and hedge against stuff like that based upon a financial system that's in place to hedge against those crashes. There's no golden zombies, y'all. I hate to tell y'all that. You can go buy gold if you want to, but I'll be spending my greenbacks because greenbacks will be here for a long time. Now, with that, we'll get to the news.
Okay. Did you introduce yourself, right?
I believe so. If they don't know who I is, I'm going to tell you again. That's Miss BB.
I already introduced myself.
I am the humble Mr. Brando. And I'm bringing the bombs, and welcome to our chat. Now, Iraqi parties debate PM candidates already rejected by the street. They came out with 5, and they came out with 3. The 3 they came out with, there was the retired general, there was the guy from the Youth Authority, and there was Dr. Shabibi. I did a little thumbnail about that and said the people's voice, and I think it was appropriate to people to understand that the people want someone bipartisan that's not part of a party, but you got to admit that Dr. Shabibi was part of Maliki's party, even though he was jailed and almost sentenced to death. But you know what? That's not here nor there. But the important thing to note behind this is that all these people are looked at, as far as the youth is concerned, as heroes, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I think it's interesting. We're going to pull up in a point that the guy that's the youth minister is a Sauder's guy, and we'll talk about Sauder packing up shop and all political entities inside of Iraq, if that makes sense, right? He packed up shop. Sadr's nothing more than an Iranian puppet, and that's evident. Go ahead.
How long does Sadr have to be in his position?
Sadr doesn't hold a position. Sadr holds the largest block. And that's why you want to see the election law go forward so they can reshape how they shape Iraqi politics. And that's why I keep telling you the election law is crucial. Election law, the law to make them federate is a big deal. Okay. That's why we keep stressing the same things.
You'll have to educate me later. I don't want to hold up the show.
No, ask.
Because remember last May when all this corruption went down, right? Mm-hmm. And they had to recount the votes. What was all that for? Because
the people that were corrupt were trying to force the people that they thought were not corrupt out, right? But remember when we did that expose and I said, is Sadr a good guy? And I said, I don't think Sadr's a really good guy.
Right.
That's when you got to start to realize that Sadr was about Iran. Mm-hmm. And I brought that up a year ago.
But here's my thing. So you're telling me Sadr doesn't hold a position?
No, Sadr doesn't hold a position. Sadr is a religious cleric. Mm. But Sadr is in bed with Iran. He lives in Iran. He's over in Iran most of the time. And Iran is his big buddy. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, after Fayyad al-Sheikh submitted his candidacy for the head of government, the leader of the Communist Party, al-Jassin, nominated activist Hana Adar as prime minister. Now, the significance of this is because I think what people don't understand is that no political bloc, that was at 1:58 p.m., they don't want a political bloc named as a party leader. They want someone from the people. Again, the people put forth 3 names. They rejected 5 names from those blocks. They will continue to reject those names until someone is elected prime minister that they feel is a candidate that's going to hold that position upheld to what they want done by that position. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So, Baghdad 18th, as the constitutional timeline for the nomination of the prime minister designate expires tomorrow, which is tomorrow Thursday, urges political leaders to reach consensus on the nomination of a candidate who meets the expectations and aspirations of the Iraqi people. That's from the United Nations Assistant Missions official statement on their website. So everybody's pulling for Iraq to do the right thing tomorrow and name a leader. The thing that's going to be crucial about naming a PM tomorrow is this. If they name a PM and they follow the Constitution, everybody can sit back and say, good, great things are about to happen because they're going to follow the Constitution. If tomorrow they come up with an excuse why they can't name a PM and they don't follow the Constitution and they find some weird windfall about it, then everybody has to sit back and reanalyze what's going on. And you got to look to places like we're going to tell you in a few minutes, but they're stalling for a reason. Liberal Iraqi MP Sheikh Ali hands over his nomination. He was the biggest craze this morning at about 6 a.m. Mr. Fraser tweeted this to me from Ruwad English. And he is an Iraqi lawyer and politician currently serving as a member of the Council of Representatives of the Iraqi since 2014 and is a Secretary General of the People's Party for Reform. In Parliament, he's a member of the Judiciary Committee. And he's a person that's well respected and the people seem to really like him. And he's really looks like kind of like a front runner. I mean, I don't know what a front runner really is in this deal right here because the election law states that they got to elect a new PM, right? So the person that's going to be put in position will only hold that position for 6 months to a year. They'll elect a new government. But the main thing that people got to realize about the person that's put into the PM position after al-Mahdi is this. That person is going to be expected to enact the reforms within a timely fashion. Okay? There's no more stalling at that point. The people want what the people want. Now, the people in that square announced their need for 5 candidates. They dwindled it down to 3. They said, noting that the nomination came after taking approval, acceptance, and commitment from them to integrity and sincerity and the commitment to serve Iraq and the people of the land. Okay? Now, after that, you got to understand, there was an article in Yahoo that said that 550 barrels of oil per day were going to be put into the budget from Kirkuk. But everybody knows that the way the budget reads right now, it says 250 barrels. Now remember, I told everybody that Kirkuk was going to have to up their barrels of oil to justify them having more of a share of the budget or entitlements to stuff like Articles 140. Yahoo right now just substantiates that and says Iraq's 550 BPD oil deal is in jeopardy. It's not truly in jeopardy, but if Kirkuk's going to get on board and play ball, which they have to, because they need that financial budget just like everything else, then they're going to do it, and they're going to make sure that Iraq gets what they need to substantiate the budget to keep them whole and to keep the salaries paid. We had a long time since speculated that the WTO was broke and on the outs, and bilateral trade was the new trend amongst global economics. To take the forefront and reshape trade, this had to happen globally, and this is just more evidence of it. The World Trade Organization risks becoming impotent as the United States preludes the appointment of judges to the appellate body whose mission is to settle disputes between the IFC members. Remember, it's like a 7-panel judge holdership or 5-panel. I think it's 7. Now, the American side is holding up at least 4 to 5 positions because of President Donald Trump. And that's kind of a good thing. He's basically taking down the WTO. That's why we didn't see the WTO in Iraq when we thought we were going to see them, because they have no money and they're broke. Okay? So when people say to you, why aren't they there? They're not there because they don't have anybody to be there. And they have no power to enforce the laws forced trade goes to make them even viable right now. Now, I found this super duper interesting from a guy named @Ravingly, Iraqi Minister of Interior, Defense, Communications, and Trade. All have been hacked. A number of other ministers have been hacked too. Hackers calling for them to resign, or his or her data will be dumped. Now, when you go into it, it says the Directorate of the Arab and International Police Recovery Integrity Commission, that we have hacked you. Greetings in reference to your book, the number, and ladder to your book, the number. According to your book, the paragraph, were not results received the communications division. Basically, they sent the same message over and over and over, demanding for their arrest and demanding for their immediate admission of their guilt in a couple different posts that the hacker posted on his Twitter. Okay? And the hackers accepting claim to it and saying, hey, look, if you don't come to terms to what you did, I'm going to expose you, and therefore you are going to be known for what you truly are. Okay? Now, there was also another thing that came out that says it is known the list of objectors to the vote on Articles 15 and 16. Now remember, 15 and 16 articles are the articles that are hang-ups as far as the election law going forward. The multiple electoral districts, the percentage is 100. And the population percentages are the Kurds, the Turks, and some representatives of the Conquest, representatives in other blocks, and others refuse to complete the vote on the law without 2 paragraphs above because they are considered the most important of what is in it. Okay? So basically what they're saying is this. It's kind of like America. America right now is arguing that the Electoral College is at fault, meaning that the largest state shouldn't dictate what the rest of the country does, right? Mm-hmm. Each country should have an equal say in what it does, but it can't work that way because you won't have tiebreakers to votes. That's what they're arguing right now in Iraq. Does that make sense? Yes. So Article 15 says the first Council of Representatives is composed of 275 members. 230 seats shall be distributed to the electoral districts of 45, and them shall be distributed as contemporary seats. Second, each governor is one of electoral districts in accordance with official borders, and shall be allocated a number of seats proportional to the number of registered voters in the government. So what they're saying is you can only have as many seats as based upon your population, which makes sense. If you're a small place, they're saying you shouldn't have a big vote, but places like Kirkuk, Basra, and some other places don't feel like they're large enough as population are having an issue with this because they feel like their voice won't be heard. And because they bear a big portion of the budget, they feel like their voice should have a bigger portion of say than, let's say, like Baghdad. Okay? Seats allocated to electoral districts shall be allocated to entities through the system of proportional representation. Same thing we just talked about. Okay? Did you have a question?
Yeah, I got some questions. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, okay. Is NATO keeping a close eye on Iraq?
Yeah, NATO's already threatened to say that if they don't have peaceful demonstrations, they will invade Iraq and make sure that the demonstrators are safe.
Okay, once they announce a leader, then what will be the next step?
That will either be a two-ply thing. Either the leader will go to Ali al-Alaq and tell them to enact the reforms immediately, or they will fire Ali al-Alaq and appoint someone that they feel will be CBI governor in hopes of someone like Ali al-Alawi that will enact the reforms immediately.
Those are my only two for right now.
Okay. There was something here I wanted to read you guys. Oh yeah, this is it right here. It's at $1 billion in foreign debt. Iraq news agency and representations of Zamili, the position of prime minister, has lost its advantages. This is related to the fortunes of Qazi al-Salah and Ayat Alawi. Now, it's funny that they mention Qazi al-Salah because he was the person that was recommended to take over. That was the Iranian puppet that they're telling you that has a fortune and that has no place in government because they're basically people that are for Iran. Between Sadr Alawi, Iran, his political position was just there stated. There is no way they were going to allow him to become somewhat of influence, okay? He's an Iraqi politician from the Sadrist movement. Now, isn't it ironic that this one person that gets recommended from the Sadrist movement is an Iranian puppet? What does that tell you about Sadr? Everybody out here fears Maliki. Once Maliki's arrested, I would tell you Maliki is the least of my fears. Someone like Sadr needs to be shut down like he is right now, hiding in the shadows where he is. Because he has way more pull than Maliki.
So are you saying he's like the silent, deadly one?
Oh yeah. Sadr's the godfather. Maliki's a dead man walking. Maliki's funds are frozen. Iran is crippled. Iran is under revolution. Maliki's nobody. Sadr holds actual stroke.
You think so? Was that Maliki standing next to George W?
The Shoegate?
Yeah, they're going to be throwing more than shoes at Maliki.
Oh yeah, they're going to hang Maliki.
Dang, I'd get out of town.
The Minister of Oil, a backup copy of your fiscal correspondence. Wouldn't it be ironic if our guy, the hacker, disperses the data about how the Minister of Oil dispersed that actual wealth? That is something that the people actually need to understand, that the HCL in Iraq is a real deal. If you talk to an Iraqi, there's two things that they don't understand. One is the HCL and one is Article 140. If you talk to an Iraqi about those things, they sound like wishes to them. They don't understand it. But if you find out stuff about the correspondence and the backed up of it, you will actually find out how Iraqis done business and where the wealth went to, and it didn't go to the people.
Let me know when you're ready for another question.
I'm ready.
What does it mean that the U.S. adopted Iraq?
They didn't adopt Iraq. Iraq is a sovereign nation under a sovereign state. What they're basically saying is that if enough harm came to American interests, that America would go in there and intervene. But Iran can't move their army from Iran to Iraq without somebody knowing, so that's not going to happen. So there is no adoption of state when you're sovereign. If that was to happen, NATO would be involved. Also, the United Nations would be involved. There'd be a world tribunal everywhere talking about the United States moving mass troops into Iraq to protect its assets. And they're not doing that.
And the second part to the question is, how does that benefit both sides and how does it help the RI?
It hurts everybody.
Okay.
Because the compensation of currency means this, the belief in it. If you don't believe in the fundamentals like the government behind it, the currency's worthless.
Ready for another one?
Sure, sure.
What's the deal with Dr. Shabibi? The citizens nominated him as prime minister along with two others, but I think he'd be better at the central bank.
Well, the problem with Dr. Shabibi is not a problem. It's actually a solution. He's heading up the finance committee over in the European Union to help stabilize their own currency. So I don't know if he's willing to come back to Iraq to head up the CBI or the PM ship. So I don't really see that happening. It's going, in my opinion, between the general and the other guy.
Okay. And that's okay.
Okay. Now, I promised you some bombs. Are y'all ready for some bombs?
We ready.
You ready for some bombs? Can I get some bombs up there?
Come on.
Can I get some bombs?
Bring it. Bring it. Like the fuse.
I want to see some bombs.
You got them. Come on.
I only see like 2 bombs.
No, I see more than 2.
Bombs. Bombs. Okay.
Thank you, Miguel.
Thank you, guys. I'm going to read you something. And you guys, if you want to, take a moment. Go to the Central Bank of Iraq's website. Okay? I want you to go under the clause of forgery. There's one of 6 pages. I'm going to read it to you. So, and I want you to note this. Let me add a little color to this. So, about 4 weeks ago, if you guys remember, the Central Bank of Iraq website went down. And everybody cited it as being nothing. Remember? What was that? Huh. So, anyway, the idea there is that when the website went down, something happened, right? Now, when that something happened, changes were made, okay? Now, within that, certain activities happened before they released information that we got, that we sat there and watched. You see what I'm saying? Now, the changes on that website came like this. If you look at this page, this is one of the main things that got changed. Forgery means any change for the truth with fraudulent intent by one of the ways that law stated on such. Such change will cause damage, whereas counterfeiting means simulation. Counterfeit intends to simulate currency, banknotes, or coins. I'll read it one more time. Counterfeiter intends to simulate currency, banknotes, or coins. You don't have coins, Iraq. What are you talking about? Why would you simulate coins?
Yeah, what you talking about?
Am I the only one smelling when I'm cooking? That's on the CBI website. Coins.
So the coins are coming, or we don't know about them?
Hold on.
Oh, okay. I'll wait.
I digress.
I'll wait.
If you skip down through the articles and go through the counterfeiting laws, Article 52, uttering each person who, knowingly and with intent to defraud, states, number 1, utters or offers to utter counterfeit money or uses counterfeit money as if it were genuine, or exports, sends, or takes counterfeit money out of Iraq, is guilty of indictable offense and liable to a fine not exceeding $100 million. And even if you remove the 3 zeros, that's $10 million. That's way stiffer than the counterfeiting, if you got caught counterfeiting money in America. Or to imprisonment of a term not less than 10 years or both. Why would you do that for a worthless currency? And that's not the best part. Each person who, with intent to defraud, knowingly utters a coin that is current, or, and it's blank. What else am I tell you? What was I tell you? It's right there. Right there. Now, you're going to sit there and tell me, well, Mr. Brando, how do you know that? It's right there. Page 1 of 6. You can read it, okay, for yourself. Right there. A coin that is not current, or, basically what they're saying, or current, okay? Now, when you go through that, you do the timeline. When that went up, they also did another page on there that talks about the CBI and what they're going to support and what they're going to pay for, okay? If you go down to the 9th month, between 4 and 6, you see Mr. Salih Mahood Salam, which is the same guy that did the interview in Russia about what? It's right and plain as day, deleting the 3 zeros. The CBI sent a partial delegation out there, and the CBI paid for 30% of it, and they stated right there, page 2 of 6. Now, the important part of that is, right afterwards, they passed a big thing about the merger of exchange companies that came out right next to it, 934, and that was Dr. Mahoon, same guy, or no, different guy, same thing. He talked about passing that law. That happened right next couple weeks later, okay? Now, the kicker of all of this, you're going to sit there and say, they can't substantiate the currency based upon the note count. Now, to substantiate the note count, you have to have a safeguard to substantiate it. And I leave you with this. And you can argue it or not argue it, but you got to argue the text. They had a meeting on 9/26, a week before the bring to delete the 3 zeros, and another week before the meeting to merge the companies of a meeting to discuss controls of the capital adequacy, standard accordance with the requirements of Basel III in cooperation with METAC. And so I say, METAC.
TAC?
METAC.
Thank you.
They could now safeguard the currency that they have in circulation against the exchange rate. So if it's $1 trillion or $5 trillion, they know that going in at 2 weeks beforehand. And they're telling you a week later, now they can delete the 3 zeros based upon Basel III. They know they can delete the 3 zeros and still substantiate the note count. Am I on fire? I can get up and leave now. Good night. I'm done.
Wait, calm down, preacher. Wait, hold on. He's on fire. Okay. You were saying they could substantiate the note count? Okay.
To all the people.
Yeah, I wanted you to say
okay,
that,
let me explain
especially
to you.
For the individual.
Okay. So a lot of people that go back and forth talking about there's $48 trillion in circulation.
Okay.
Basel III says that you gotta have, if you're a top 1,000 bank, and there are 2 banks in Iraq that are a top 1,000 bank, the CBI and the Trade Bank of Iraq, to substantiate your note count and secure stability against safeguard against failure, right? Mm-hmm. So why would you have that meeting beforehand? So you know you can substantiate failure, right? That's it, 48 trillion. A week later, you have a meeting about deleting the 3 zeros. Why would you have a meeting a week later to delete the 3 zeros? Because you know you can substantiate the note count. Mm-hmm. Yeah! Woo! That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Okay. You tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready. Okay. Bring it.
Breaker Change wants to know, how does the banks that are committing fraud affect the ISX investment?
Okay. Those banks that are committing fraud against the auction are committing fraud against the licensee that happened in 2012. Not against the ISX.
Okay, so I got you. Okay, so let me.
I do this for real, y'all.
Wait. So
I don't need to read the news. I do this for real.
Breaker and change. So let me say this: if Bank of America was committing fraud, how does that affect Wall Street? How does that affect New York Stock Exchange? It wouldn't, right?
Right.
So
it wouldn't.
So
when Wells Fargo got hemmed up for those fake accounts in California,
or that mortgage scam that they were doing,
what happened to their stock holdings?
I mean, their stock holdings itself would tank or go dry, right?
But it didn't affect the currency,
right? Or it didn't affect the stock market overall. It might affect their stock per se, but it wouldn't affect the collective stock market.
Now people are starting to understand why this is called Iraqi Dinar 101.
Okay.
We do this for real.
I got you.
Dude, we ain't thinking like everybody else. Shout out Paul Marion, baby. Thank you. Salute a king. Free thinkers. That's why when I put out a video that tells you about the deletion of the 3 zeros, before I come out with this video, you know why I came out with this video? Because I think very deeply.
Okay.
I know what I'm doing. I'm not doing this. I'm trying to tell you, look ahead. It's called foreshadowing if you're writing a story or a movie script. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, I'm getting jiggy with it.
I see. Okay, VHF wants to know. It is being reported that the U.S. is decreasing personnel in Iraq because they are not cooperating with the U.S. and helping attack Iran.
They're decreasing personnel in the embassy. They're upping personnel in the military presence to protect the oil fields.
So, how does that affect the dinar situation, in your opinion?
Don't you want someone guarding the bank? The bank is oil. I want someone watching my money because all they got is oil. Everything else is superficial until we get the oil.
Let's see. Margarita M says, Miss April, can you ask Mr. B, of course, with the understanding that now or later is acceptable because I know that this is and will happen. Question is his opinion on how long will this prolong?
This is the thing, okay? As long as we see people in that square protesting in them tents, that's pressure on the political system that's in Iraq. That's going to fold the Iraqi parliamentary system and force a change. When we see the people disperse, then you got to think to yourself at that point, the citizens got what they wanted, which is the reforms, and then thus we will be going to the bank.
I'm not sure if Michael Charles is asking a question. He's saying, well, it has a question mark, but there was a news report about $24 million scam on the Iraqi Dinar. Did you hear about that?
Nah, I don't read too much scam stuff. I read bank scams. I read, like security scams. I read dinar scams. I mean, not dinar scams, but security scams. Oil scams where they're stealing oil. I don't read too much dinar scam. You know why? Because that money's all traceable.
Thank you, Vicky Osborne. She gave you a compliment.
Thank you, Vicky.
Margarita M said, you smoking, you on fire.
Now, I'm going to tell y'all.
Maximum Place said, I need a hazmat suit out here for all the nukes exploding.
Man, I'm telling y'all. And I mean, you know what? I cheated today, y'all. Y'all gonna boo me for this one. I went out there and listened to like 3 or 4 gurus. I went out there really before I did this. I went out there. I'm not even gonna name the gurus. I listened to like 4 minutes.
I dreaming?
Yeah, no, for real.
What?
I went there. I listened. Yeah, I did. I really did. I went there. I played them. I was like,
I'm gonna have to look at his YouTube history, y'all.
Man.
What?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to see if they even watched it, if they even read this stuff. How do you talk about a prevalent subject like this and you don't double check your facts and don't even talk about it? I was like, dude, and I reported this last night. You can ask on my Patreon. Patreon, I broke it down last night deeper than this. This is just this is superficial. This is just the tidbits. Join Patreon. Only real gang in America. For real. You don't think it's worth it? It's worth every nickel, every minute. If you think my analysis is free, man, you ought to talk to me when I'm really, really on fire.
Mr. B, today I heard that the U.S. is going through the green zone of Iraq. What do you think about that?
Well, I think this. I don't know. Okay, I'll say this. If they're going there to protect the people, I'm all for it. I'd rather see the United Nations doing it because the United States doesn't need to be Iraq's big brother. Iraq needs to be sovereign. Do you see what I'm saying? See, this is the problem with Iraq. Iraq defaults to 2 things. When the Constitution fits them, they don't do it. When the Iraqi Constitution gives them an opportunity to stall, they do it. You see what I'm saying? So I don't want to see the Americans go into the green zone. I want to see the United Nations go into the green zone because it's the United Nations problem, not an America problem, even though we invaded Iraq back in 2002, 2003. The reason why I'm saying that is because we've built them, we pumped money into it. We've developed infrastructure. We've given them access to loans. We've given them trade allowances. We've done all this stuff. Iraq's got to walk on their 2 feet.
Fetus. Delta Light wants to know, was it true that the woman that deposited money got millions in return was depositing dinar and the bank messed up?
I mean, I don't know. I read that story, but I'll tell you this. Me and Mr. Fraser have a friend, and he wanted to sell his dinar, so he went to Citibank, right? The exchange rate was, the buy rate was 0.00084. The sell rate was 0.00064. So I don't, if that was a glitch, that happened, but I don't believe that. I mean, it could happen, but I think the bank would correct it instantly.
James Reed said he's in his feelings. You didn't answer his call. Okay.
So big game. I'm sorry, buddy, man. I was busy.
He was deep in them notes and watching YouTube journalism.
Man, I was watching the streets. I was seeing if people was talking about what we was talking about. And I had to disguise my thumbnails with who's the next PM. Who cares? It doesn't matter. The next PM's going to have to enact the Iraqi reforms. You're going to have to. Whether it's tomorrow or whether it's in a couple days, the people are going to stay in that square and quit people from going to school. Remember, they're stopping people from going to school. They're stopping people from going to work. They're pretty soon they're going to stop people from having access to oil fields. And that's when Iraq's really going to have a problem. And that's when I say this is going to hit a major injunction when the Iraqi people stop the actual workers from going to the oil fields.
Who is that that's asked that question? Michael wants to know, Mr. Brando, do you have a pic of these coins?
Mm-hmm.
You do?
The old coin from 2004?
No, I guess the coins that they mentioned in the article.
Yeah, I got the old ones. They counterfeited these coins right here. I'll send it to you. You want them?
I mean,
I got them.
I could put it in the
community tab.
Yeah, I could put it in Michael.
Here.
I could put it in the community tab if you don't have an iPhone, and you'll be able to see them. I can't post pictures in the chat, but
I screenshotted them.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Brando on point. He on point.
Done. She got in her chat. There they go right there. Look. It's a 25 dinar, a 50 dinar, and a 100 dinar. All back in 2004 they had coins. One was a copper. One looks like it was like a bronze colored or like a gold colored, which was 50.
Let me
platinum colored, which was 100 dinar.
Hold on, you guys. I can't respond to y'all right now. Let me post this out there.
Oh yeah, people still in the square.
Huh?
People are still in the square.
What you mean? Oh, you answering somebody's question?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Let me close out this window. You sent that to me through Messenger.
Not the election law maximum play, the federation law. When that federal law goes through, then you'll be at the bank. Because the federal law enacts all the intellectual properties and all the things that protect them under a federal magistrate, which is just like America, separating the government from Iraq to a federal Iraq to a central bank to Iraq, which is a trifold system, which we do right here.
Oh, thank you, Michael Charles. He said, Mr. Brown, this is the best information for me because it makes me keep buying. Let's see. I'm trying to edit this picture, y'all, so I can upload it.
And y'all think I'm quiet because I got nothing to say. I'm quiet because I'm double checking. I gotta double check the double checks.
Nah, he be on his grind. He be over there reading, researching. These are the coins right here, right, babe?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna save it, and I'm about to upload it on your Uber Tuber. And these coins are from what year?
2004. It says, Brandon says, Mr. B, do you think it will take to March based on Kuwait? No, because Kuwait and Iraq are two totally different things. First of all, Kuwait wasn't under any sanctions. Mm-hmm. Second of all, Kuwait had infrastructure and policy and legislation in place. Third of all, Kuwait didn't have as much corruption in place. The comparison from Kuwait to Iraq is the biggest stretch from me being Michael Jordan.
Oh.
It's a long stretch.
Jackson?
A similar Michael Jackson. Or thin like Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? You can't compare the two.
You said 2004 coins?
Yeah.
2004 coins?
Yeah, 2004 coins. 20, 50, 100. Yeah, you got to understand that the differentiator between Kuwait and that is all those things. So Kuwait could reinstate their currency at a nominal rate based upon what it was before they got invaded. Iraq got invaded, but the rate that it was actually imposed by Saddam Hussein. But because of the gold, because of the oil, because of all the things that they're putting in place, now it can substantiate a nominal rate based upon their history.
Okay. Let me go back.
Man. And yeah, LOP is not a bad thing when you're talking about one price for goods for everybody. You see what I'm saying? But LOP, when you're talking about currency and you're not changing an exchange rate, when you're talking amongst people that don't know the actual terms, is actually a negative thing. So when people talk LOP, people that are in the know that a LOP is bad. It's not one price per unit because not everybody's unit's not the same thing. Hence the word bilateral trade.
Somebody mentioned a LOP. Hey sis, Deborah out there, your sister-in-law out there.
Hey sis.
Okay, you guys, if you go to the community tab, the picture of the coins is out there. Michael, I think you asked for it, so now you got it. Okay, let me hop back in the chat. Let me see where you at.
We got 10 minutes.
10 minutes, 6 minutes, Dougie Fresh, you're on.
Listen, the budget will only tell us what the allocations of what the funds are going to be. Listen, when I got in this about whatever ago, 11 years ago, I started looking at the budget in about 2015. Every year they had a deficit that was bigger than the year prior. 16, 17, 18, 10% higher, more of a budget. But guess what? None of the projects in the budget got done because they were always in a deficit. I don't care what they write the budget for. Oil dictates their whole budget until they diversify the budget. So don't worry about the budget. I want to see an allocation of Article 140, an article issued to the HCL. When I see those allocations of the budget, I don't have to worry about what the rate is. I know exactly then they got to change the rate or their reserves are going to run dry.
Now, did you answer Brandon's question about do you think it'll take a march based on Kuwait?
I already did.
Okay,
this has
okay.
nothing to do with Kuwait.
Yeah. I'm just trying to catch up. I'm sorry. You know, I was posting the coins.
Listen, if you got a basic understanding of economics, right, how trade works, this all makes sense.
Do you believe it's all in the 2020 budget?
I just answered that. No, no, there's no rate in any budget. Listen, if you put out the rate in December, right? Think about this, guys. Think, just for 1 second. Let's say you put out a rate of $1. Okay, the budget goes from trillions to billions. Wouldn't all of you, being speculatory investors, go out and mortgage your homes against buying Iraqi dinar? Well, damn straight you would.
If we knew it was
yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. If you knew it was in billions, I'd mortgage my home against it. I'd go buy $400,000 in dinar because I know that in the next couple of weeks when 2020's budget's enacted, they've got to retrospect back to deleting the 3 zeros. That's not going to happen.
Did you answer Jay, the AT&T guy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Will all FDIC banks and credit unions in the U.S. receive new foreign exchange procedures?
I don't know the answer to that question, to be honest with you. I know that if you're a top 1,000 bank and you have foreign currency exchange procedures, you'll be able to cover the exchange based upon Basel III compliance.
I'm new to this, just hear about it at work. What should I do? How do I purchase? William Campbell wants to know, how does he purchase? First of all,
hold on. First of all, I'm not a financial advisor, nor do I portray one. You and I have a conversation based upon some information that you just presented to me. I'm giving you advice based on not professional advice, but advice from a friend. I would tell you this. I would go to somebody like Save Dinar or Exchange of America and go purchase a dinar, or from a kiosk
or LA Currency Exchange.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, wherever you're located, they might have an exchange there as well too. So there you have that.
So guys, when I break this video down and replay this, watch it again because there's so many nuggets of information here. You're not going to catch it live. That's why we're now breaking down the videos, because we figured it out. There's so much information, it's like drinking from a fire hydrant. So when you see a repeat, watch it, like it, study it, because It's pretext to the next video, okay? And love it. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell. I never said that before. Hit the notification bell. Like it. Subscribe. I want to hit the damn camera. Bam. I did it on YouTube.
We don't have a blog camera.
I know, and I'm wearing my vest. I'm so New York. I'm so Brooklyn.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right, y'all. I had a lot of fun putting this show together for y'all. I hope y'all enjoy it. Holiday schedule's coming out for filming. So if Iraq depegs from $1 and they move the Arabic basket, their fiscal year starts in April. No, Iraq's fiscal year starts in January, Clinton. So I know where you're getting that information from. I heard the YouTuber and it's not correct, but I get you, bro. It's not a bad thing. I appreciate all you guys, man. I love all you guys. Thanks for the love. We're going into 2020 with a fresh mindset. And you know what we're else coming into? With some new. So I love them. And you know what? We keep bringing them. And I keep blowing hard. And with that, that's the news.
Is that the news?
And I bid you good night.
Good night, y'all. Check out Spotify.
Follow Spotify. Catch the replay, baby.
I'll have this uploaded in a few days.
Man, peace.
Bye.